What's up guys, Phantom here back with episode 81 of my F1 2019 career mode as we are going to Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix for round 18 of season 4 here. As you can see, we are still second in car development as we have a ultimate tire wear upgrade coming next round in the USA as we will go to qualifying.
For the Mexico Grand Prix qualifying. So let's get ready and see who has that pole position winning performance in them this afternoon. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure. It's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
As we are here in Q3 as Perez is on provisional pole for his home Grand Prix as we exit the baseball stadium here onto the start finish straight here onto one of the longest straights here on the F1 calendar as it just goes on and on and on as we will move on to the end of the lap here in the baseball stadium here as we now exit it for the last right-hander where you get a bunch of understeer as we will hug the wall here as we will come across the line in P4 as Perez is on pole for his home Grand Prix as we are in 4th and our teammate Ricardo is in 6th as our rival Leclerc is in 2nd as we will move on to the race.
The air may be thin here in Mexico City, the atmosphere is anything but. The crowd have been chanting and singing, not just this afternoon, but throughout the entire weekend. There's a great love for Formula One here, and no small amount of expectation. Let's hope today's Grand Prix can meet it. We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. And joining me amongst the cheers of the phenomenal Mexican fans, it's Anthony Davidson, and welcome along to this historic circuit. What an occasion this is.
Yeah, it's hard to believe when you see the passion this country has for the sport that Formula One was away from Mexico for so long. It's fantastic to be here, and let's hope that the race lives up to the party atmosphere we've got going. It's a real fast track this. We get up to Monza levels of speed down the main straight thanks to the high altitude here at over 2,000 metres above sea level. And with that comes the challenge of having less downforce in the corners. So that makes it a really demanding circuit both for the drivers and engineers.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Oldtimer, Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel, Albon, Norris, Hamilton, and Lucas Faber, Bottas, Sainz, Daniel Kvyat, and Magnussen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Hülkenberg, Raikkonen, Roman Grosjean and Devon Butler. Russell and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
As we sit here on the grid in P4 here for the Mexican Grand Prix, the 5 lights are on and they are finally out there as we get a pretty average start there and then we bog down there in 4th gear as we are in the slipstream of Leclerc as our teammate Ricardo has overtaken us, so we're down to P5, so we will go up the inside. We thought about it there for a second as we're in a turn in for turn 2. We get tailed spun there a little bit there as we've had to escape down the grass as we are now getting past left and right as we're actually going to lift off here a little bit and go the inside of Kvyat, but we are again too cautious now. Weber is having a run at us. We're down to P9 there for a little while as we get back to P8 and we run over Hamilton there as he was giving the place to Kvyat there. But you can see her on the replay there, we were actually 3 wide there. So I was planning on only having one car there. I only saw the one vehicle there of Vettel, as you can see here on the replay. But with Weber here getting an absolute launch off the corner, you can see he's braking in a straight line, and then Kvyat just absolutely swiped in front of him, so he's lost a bit of his end plate, so he will be massively slow, as you can see us get around him and then run into the back of Hamilton. As we are pretty desperate here, we've lost 4 positions off the start, as we're going to throw it here up the inside, as that wasn't very clean. That was probably not a overtaking move here, as we come onto lap 3 now, as Kvyat and Vettel are side by side, and really I'm trying to figure out which one to go with, as Vettel is just not going. So as they're going to go side by side here, I try to get a run on them, as I can't quite cut down far enough there on Vettel there. We actually make contact twice, as pretty messy race, as you can see, extending like a god there. But Kvyat is next, as hopefully we can actually make a clean overtake here as we come around his outside there, as he'll actually outbrake us into turn 1 here, but we will have the inside line for turn 2, as he will actually get a very good run off that 3rd corner there, as we will actually have the DRS once again, and we will secure this 5th place. But as right after that has happened here, you can see he's kind of blown an engine, as he is really just had terrible luck, as he was basically on for his best finishing position of 6th, as he has had very little points, less than I think 25 points in this career mode.
Some information on Leclerc. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
As that is a big blow for our championship rival, as you can see we're passing Kvyat, but Leclerc is very slow. So Leclerc, who's had very hard success in the last few races, is having even harder hardships here as we pass him, as we are also hunting down our teammate of Ricciardo, but he is getting destroyed in the championship right now here, as we will surely get close to him in the championship, if not pass him. But we are coming into the pits at the end of this lap here, as you can see on lap 8, as we were actually getting very close to our teammate Ricciardo there, as we come in to fit on the medium tires. Is that a 2.1 second pit stop there, as the rest of the people besides Grosjean, who's just now passed us, have pitted, as we will come out of the pit in 15th. But as we come on to lap 10 here now, our teammate Ricciardo is coming out of the pits, as we will now tuck into his slipstream here, but it looks like he will be just a little bit too far ahead of us here as we come into turn 1, as we lock the brakes up there a little bit, the tires up there. But on lap 11 here, we are really close to him. We will make the pass very easily down the front stretch here. As we come to the end of the race, Sergio Perez has won his home Grand Prix, as really we were just fast enough to Ricciardo, as he started to catch us here a little bit at the end, but we pulled out about a 2 or 3 second gap. But Verstappen was absolutely miles up the road, as we will finish 3rd here at Mexico.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for McLaren today. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Oldtimer takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, I certainly didn't have any complaints with Kevin Magnussen's performance today. Incredible driving.
Let's move on to the Constructors. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, Toro Rosso's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.